We are live, sir.
Hari Om Hari. Sarvarigo Namaskaragal. Hari Om. Prostrating at the lotus feet of Brahmanishta, Sadguru, Shrotriya, Sri Virajeshwara, Saraswati, and the entire Guru Parampara on behalf of all of us. Today's discourse on the commentary on Viveka Chudamani, written by Acharya Shankara Bhagavatpada, will continue. Hari Om. With the initial Prarthana shlokas are Mangalacharana shlokas. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Shri Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purana Namalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kruto Vande Bhagavantau Punaha Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmiham Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya Harihi Om. So, in the forum of Sadguru Acharya talking to his Uttam Adhikari disciple, Shishya, the session of Viveka Chudamani now continues. Last time, Bhagavatpada had written about the way the Acharya tells the Shishya about ultimately how to reach Brahmajnana, how to reach liberation by mainly the Viveka and Vairagya, followed by Shat Sampatti, like Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana, and then followed by Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, means dhyana, continuous meditation. And by the grace of the Guru or God, when the disciple follows all the instructions sincerely, with a total conviction, Shraddha and Bhakti, and with a total surrender at the lotus feet of his Guru, then at an appropriate time, when the Sadguru is pleased, who is nothing but God himself, that Shishya, during the meditation phase, he will enter into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And in Nirvikalpa Samadhi Sthiti, in that state, in that supreme state of the meditation, he will realize his own Atman, or the Brahman, or he will realize his own true identity. So there it was stopped last time. So the earlier two preceding shlokas which were discussed in the last discourse, they form the substance of the whole of this Viveka Chudamani Mahan Grantha, Prakarana Grantha by Acharya Shankara Bhagavatpada. And as repeatedly I am telling, the commentary on the shlokas are mainly based on the commentary given by Jagadguru Sri Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswamigal, Pithadipati of the Sringeri, during his lifetime. Now the Acharya continues to his Shishya. Iga ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೇಳಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಶಿಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಯದ್ಬೋದ್ಧವ್ಯಂ ತವೇದಾನೀಂ ಆತ್ಮಾನಾತ್ಮ ವಿವೇಚನಂ ತದುಚ್ಯತೆ ಮಯಾ ಸಮ್ಯಕ್ ಶ್ರುತ್ವಾತ್ಮನ್ಯವಧಾರಯ. ಯದ್ಬೋದ್ಧವ್ಯಂ ತವೇದಾನೀಂ ಆತ್ಮಾನಾತ್ಮ ವಿವೇಚನಂ ಸದುಚ್ಯತೆ ಮಯಾ ಸಮ್ಯಕ್ ಶ್ರುತ್ವಾ ಆತ್ಮನಿ ಅವಧಾರಯ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೋಡಪ್ಪ ಶಿಷ್ಯ, ಈಗ ನಾನು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನ ಗಮನ ಇಟ್ಟು ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆಯಿಂದ ಕೇಳು, ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಶ್ಚಯಾತ್ಮಕ ಬುದ್ಧಿಯಿಂದ ಕೇಳು. ಈಗ ನಾನು ನಿನಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟಿರೋದು ಆತ್ಮ ಅನಾತ್ಮ ಇವುಗಳ ವಿವೇಚನೆ. ಆತ್ಮ ಅನಾತ್ಮ. Now the Acharya says to the Shishya, now you listen carefully, very carefully. I am going to tell you now the difference between Atma and Anatma. So I will start with what is Anatma. That was your question earlier. So I am going to tell you what is Anatma. So that is how he starts. So in the next few shlokas, Acharya is elaboratively, extensively, now he starts explaining our physical body. This physical body which you can see, the person sitting in front of you, the person standing in front of you, or your own body, this is called the physical body or the gross body. So he starts explaining in detail about the gross body, physical body, and then he takes up later the explanation on the subtle body, which is invisible within the gross body. Again, later he will explain about the causal body, which is further invisible. And explaining all the three in detail, he will say that all these three, physical body, which can be seen and felt and observed and touched, the inner subtle body and the causal body, all the three constitute Anatma. ಮುಂದೆ ಬರುವ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಬಹಳ ವಿಶದವಾಗಿ ವಿವರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅನಾತ್ಮ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಮೊದಲು ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ದೇಹದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವರ್ಣನೆ, ನಂತರ ಈ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ದೇಹದ ಒಳಗೆ ಅಗೋಚರವಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ದೇಹ, ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಶರೀರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವಿವರಣೆ, ತದನಂತರ ಕಾರಣ ಶರೀರ, ಅದು ಸಹ ಅಗೋಚರ, ದೇಹದ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಆ ಮೂಲ ಕಾರಣ ಶರೀರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ವಿವರಣೆ. ಈ ವಿವರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರೋ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನೋಡಪ್ಪ ವತ್ಸ, ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹ, ಸ್ಥೂಲ ದೇಹ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ಕಾಣದೇ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ದೇಹ ಶರೀರ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನೂ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಕಾರಣ ಶರೀರ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇವೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಅನಾತ್ಮ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಪ್ಪ. ಇವು ಆತ್ಮ ವಸ್ತುವೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅಶಾಶ್ವತ, ನಶ್ವರ, ಇವತ್ತಿದ್ದು ನಾಳೆ ಹೋಗುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ಶುರು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೊದಲು ಸ್ಥೂಲ ದೇಹದ ವರ್ಣನೆ. ಮಜ್ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮೇದ ಫಲರಕ್ತ ಚರ್ಮ ತ್ವಗಾಹ್ವಯೈ ಧಾತುಭಿರೇಭಿರನಿನ್ ಅನ್ವಿತಂ ಪಾದೋರು ವಕ್ಷೋ ಭುಜ ಪೃಷ್ಠ ಮಸ್ತಕೈ ಅಂಗೈರುಪಾಂಗೈ ಉಪಯುಕ್ತಮೇತತ್. ಮಜ್ಜಾಸ್ಥಿಮೇದ ಫಲರಕ್ತ ಚರ್ಮ ತ್ವಗಾಹ್ವಯೈ ಧಾತುಭಿರೇಭಿರನ್ವಿತಂ ಪಾದೋರ್ವ ವಕ್ಷೋ ಭುಜ ಪೃಷ್ಠ ಮಸ್ತಕೈ ಅಂಗೈರುಪಾಂಗೈ ಉಪಯುಕ್ತಮೇತತ್. Now the Acharya explains the gross body structure. Imagine our Rishi Munis, Acharyas, they all knew most of the anatomical details of the human body. When you cut open the human body, what is that you see inside, as doctors tell? Everything was known. Everything was known in the science called Ayurveda itself. So Acharya is explaining in detail now about the body itself. See, Majjasti Meda Palarakta Charma Twak Ahvayai Dhatubihi Ebihi Dhatubihi Ahvayai Anvitam. He says, look, this body is actually made up of the bone marrow tissue, Majja, bone marrow, soft marrow tissue within the long bones. This marrow tissue is responsible for the production of the blood cells. So, bone marrow, asthi means bones, medaha means fat, Pala means flesh, rakta, that is a blood, charma and twak, two words are used. Charma and twak, both in common sense we can call it as skin. But here, what Acharya means is differentiating. Charma is inside, twak is outside, both commonly called as skin only. So charma here means the dermis portion, the lower portion. The twak refers to the outer portion, what we can touch and see and feel here. This is the epidermal portion. So how beautifully they are, being explained. See, this body consists of bone marrow, bones, flesh, blood, the skin, inner skin, outer skin. Then there are organs and sub-organs, tissues inside. Padoru vakshobhuja prushtamastakaihi angairupangai upayuktametat. So the body is made up of different organs like the hands, the legs, the shoulders, the back, and the head. So various organs, and inside various other organs, inside like our liver, spleen, intestine, heart, etc., etc. ಅಂಗೈ ಉಪಾಂಗೈ ಉಪಯುಕ್ತಮೇತತ್. ಈ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಮಜ್ಜ, ಮೂಳೆ ಮತ್ತು ಮಾಂಸ, ರಕ್ತ ಇವುಗಳಿಂದ ತುಂಬಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಚರ್ಮ ಮತ್ತು ಅಂಗಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ತುಂಬಿಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಈ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ದೇಹ. ಅಹಂ ಮಮೇತಿ ಪ್ರತಿತಂ ಶರೀರಂ ಮೋಹಾಸ್ಪದಂ ಸ್ಥೂಲಮಿತೀರ್ಯತೆ ಬುಧೈಃ ನಭೋ ನಭಸ್ತ್ವದ್ದಹನಂಬುಭೂಮಯಃ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮಾಣಿ ಭೂತಾನಿ ಭವಂತಿ ತಾನಿ. In the next sloka, Acharya continues about this body, physical body. Explanation. Aham mameti prathitham shariram mohaspadam stholamitiryatai budhaihi nabho nabastvaddhanambubhumaya sukshmani bhutani bhavanti tani. Aham mameti prathitham shariram. Nodappa ಶಿಷ್ಯ, ಈ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ದೇಹ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಅಹಂ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಮಮ, ಅಹಂ ಮತ್ತು ಮಮ ಈ ಎರಡು ವಿಕಾರಗಳಿಗೆ ಕಾರಣೀಭೂತವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಈ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಶರೀರ. ಅಹಂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು 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 ಅನ್ನುವ ಭಾವ ಅಹಂಕಾರ. ಮಮ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ನನ್ನದು 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 ನನ್ನವರು ನನ್ನವರು ನನ್ನದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಮಮಕಾರ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಹಂಕಾರ ಮತ್ತು ಮಮಕಾರ ಎರಡೂ ಕೂಡಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ, ಈ ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಈ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ದೇಹ ಇದು ಮೋಹಾಸ್ಪದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ. ಅಹಂ ಮಮೇತಿ ಪ್ರತಿತಂ ಶರೀರಂ ಮೋಹಾಸ್ಪದಂ ಸ್ಥೂಲಮಿತೀರ್ಯತೈ ಬುಧೈಃ. See, this body, aham plus mama, this body identifies itself that I am this, I am this, I am this, from the birth till the death. So that is the ego, aham. And always this gross body thinks, mama, mama, mine, 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 mine. These are mine. They belong to me. So this me and mine concept always built in from thousands of births. So aham refers to ego or ahankara. Mama refers to mamakara, that is attachment. Mine means attachment. You are attached always from the birth till the death. Attached. Attached to what? So many things. Mainly attached to your own people, your own kids and kins, your wife, your children, parents, your husband, everything you are more attached. Your friends, you are attached to them all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time till the death. So this aham mameti pratitham shariram mohaspadam. Mohaspadam pratitham shariram. So that is why this body is sort of a, because of mohaspada, means because of delusion, because of bhranti, because of maya, always thinks me and mine, me and mine. Why? because of Maya, because of attachment, because of delusion. Moha means attachment, raga, moha, almost same. You're attached, always attached. See, the main point is that is due to ajnana. That is a different issue. We'll come to that later. But Acharya is talking about your physical body here. See, your physical body is representation of me and mine concept. These two always there with you all the time till the body dies, till the last breath. So that is the speciality of this gross body or physical body. Acharya is talking. Enigmatically, he is using the Vedantic words in such a beautiful way. Subtle undercurrents are here in this shloka. Aham mameti prathitam shariram. As long as you are attached, see, the me and my concept that I am this body, these things are mine, these people are mine, this belongs to me. ನಾನು ನನ್ನವರು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಸಾಯೋ ಕೊನೆ ಕ್ಷಣದೊಳಗೆ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಬಿಡುಗಡೆ ಆದರೆ ತಾನೇ ಮುಕ್ತಿ. ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಭಾವ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. Suddenly I remember in Moola Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita is so famous that comes in Bhishma Parva, the sermon by the Lord Krishna Paramatma to Arjuna. Later, after the war completed, and Yudhishthira became the emperor of Hastinapura, for the next 1.5 years after the Mahabharata war, Krishna stayed. Lord stayed in Hastinapura only. Later, he wanted to go back to Dwaraka. So, in the next Ashwamedha Parva, another Bhagavad Gita sermon starts. Majority who have read Mahabharata know that. Otherwise, you have never heard of that. Again, by the request of Arjuna, on the eve of the departure to Dwaraka, Krishna chides him. Arjuna says to Krishna, look, my dear friend, my dear brother-in-law, 1.5 years, 2 years back, when the war was going on, you taught me Bhagavad Gita in the battleground itself. I was so blessed. As a guru, you taught me. But again, no, I have forgotten that. Pardon me, Krishna, Keshava, I have forgotten what you taught on the battleground 1.5 years, 2 years before. Can you explain again the same Bhagavad Gita to me now that you are going back to Dwaraka? Look at the question of Arjuna. That's why our Gurudev used to say Bhagavad Gita is difficult to understand. Why? Arjuna, after saying that I have understood Nashto Moha, see, I have come out of delusion. He says like that in Bhagavad Gita. Now, after 1.5 years, he tells the same Krishna, I have forgotten Bhagavad Gita. Krishna chides him, abuses him. He said, what a fool you are. With great interest and concentration, seriously, I have taught the Upadesha to you, and now you say you have forgotten that. Okay, I cannot tell you the same thing again and again, in the same words, in the same format. What happened, happened. But I'll tell you in a different way. So, with being so compassionate, merciful, Lord once again teaches the same concept of Bhagavad Gita in different slokas. Now, that is compiled by scholars, Mahatmans. They just named it, that group of advice, as Anugita. Anugita. Very interestingly, please remember, all the three Maha Acharyas in our spiritual annals, the history of India, starting from Sri Shankara Bhagavatpada, then Sri Ramanujacharya, and then Sri Madhvacharya. All the three great Acharyas have written commentary on Bhagavad Gita. But they have not written commentary on Anugita. So in the Anugita, the same points what Lord said in Bhagavad Gita, they are there but in a slightly different sense. Certain points are more elaborated here in Anugita. While concluding Anugita, finally Lord Krishna Paramatma tells Arjuna in the last conclusion of Anugita, he says, look, Arjuna, Dvaksharastu bhaven mrityu Triaksharam Brahma Shashvatam. Dvaksharastu bhaven mrityu Triaksharam Brahma Shashvatam. Mameti bhavet mrityuhu na mameti shashvatam. Mameti bhavet mrityuhu na mameti shashvatam. He concludes that like that. Lord's Vachana in Anugita. So there what he means, look Arjuna, there is a word with 2 letters, Jakshara. And there is a word with 3 letters, Trakshara. ಅಣುಗೀತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಗವಂತ ಉಪಸಂಹಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಜುನನ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಕೊನೆಯ ಉಪದೇಶ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನೋಡಪ್ಪ ಅರ್ಜುನ, 2 ಅಕ್ಷರದ ಒಂದು ಪದ ಇದೆ, 3 ಅಕ್ಷರದ ಒಂದು ಪದ ಇದೆ. ಆ 2 ಅಕ್ಷರದ ಪದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು ಜೀವನ ಪರ್ಯಂತ ಜ್ಯೋತ್ ಬಿದ್ದಿದಾರೋ, ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದಾರೋ, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹುಟ್ಟು ಸಾವು ಚಕ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿರಂತರವಾಗಿ ಸುತ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ ಅರ್ಜುನ. ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಆ 3 ಅಕ್ಷರದ ಪದ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ, ಅನುಸಂಧಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವರು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಂಸಾರದಿಂದ ಮುಕ್ತರಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮರಣ ಬರೋದ್ರ ಒಳಗೇನೆ ಅವರು ಮುಕ್ತರಾಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಜನ್ಮರಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರು ಪುನರ್ಜನ್ಮ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಅರ್ಜುನ. ಯಾವುದದು 2 ಅಕ್ಷರ ಪದ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಜ್ಯೋತಿ ಬೀಳೋದು? ಮಮ. ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಭಗವಂತ ಮಮ, ನನ್ನದು. 3 ಅಕ್ಷರದ ಪದ ಯಾವುದು? ನ ಮಮ ಇತಿ, ನ ಮಮೇತಿ, ನನ್ನದಲ್ಲ. ನ ಮಮ, ನನ್ನದಲ್ಲ. See, look how beautifully in this one shloka itself, whole thing is conveyed by Lord himself. He says, people always, they are attracted by the 2-lettered word, mama, mine, mine, mine. Here mama means aham also. Because of aham, there is mama feeling. So everything is mine, everything is mine. These people are mine. These are my kids and kins. These are my dear ones. These are my near ones. These people, I love them so much. They are my daughters, my sons, my wife, my husband. Others are different. They are the loved ones. They love me and I love them. My life is for them only. See, mama, attachment. Attachment to the people, attachment to the wealth, attachment to your property, attachment to your status, attachment to your friends, your job, everything. That's because of your own ego. So when you're attached to that one word, mama, yaksharastu bhavin mrityu, that word will lead to mrityu, means death. Every time reborn, death, reborn, death. So you are in the cycle of samsara. As long as you are attached, you are in the samsara. But when you say na mama, Traksharam Brahma Shashvatam, na mameti Brahma Shashvatam. So when you say it is not mine, everything belongs to God. It's all God's gift. Even this body is not mine. See, they are there. The body is there. It is doing its duty. But I am not this body. When I am not the body, people connected to me are also not mine spiritually. They appear different, but they are all one and the same, because there is only one supreme Atma. I am that Atma Swarupa. Everything is same Atma Swarupa. So na mama means no attachment, no delusion. So they are fit enough for the jnana. What Lord says in Anugita. Mameti bhaven mrityuhu na mameti Brahma Shashvatam. So the person devoid of delusion of me and mine concept will reach Brahmahood, Brahmapada. He is the man who can be realized in this birth itself. He is the one adhikari for Brahmajnani. So we have digressed a little bit here. So now the Guru starts explaining the same physical body to the Shishya in the next shloka. Parasparam shair militani bhutva stulani cha stula sharira hetavah matrastadiya vishaya bhavanti shabdadaya pancha sukhaya bhoktuhu. Parasparam shair militani bhutva stulani cha stula. Before this shloka I started, I forgot the last two charanas of the previous shloka to explain. I just forgot. I'll come back to that. The last two charana of the previous shloka, Nabho nabhastvad-dahanambu bhumaya sukshmani bhutani bhavantitani. The physical process, Acharya is explaining to the Shishya how this gross body is formed. This gross body, this physical body. ಈ ಎರಡು ಕೊನೆ ಚರಣಗಳ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕದ್ದು ಮರ್ತಿದ್ದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಭೋ ನಭಸ್ತ್ವದಹನಾಂಬ ಭೂಮಯ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮಾಣಿ ಭೂತಾನಿ ಭವಂತಿ ತಾನಿ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಶಿಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ, ನೋಡಪ್ಪ, ಈ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಶರೀರ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ 5 ಪಂಚಮಹಾಭೂತಗಳಿಂದ ಮಾಡಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ. 5 ಪಂಚ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ 5 ಪಂಚಭೂತಗಳಿಂದ ಈ ಶರೀರ ಮಾಡಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಯಾವುದು ಪಂಚಭೂತಗಳು? ಆಕಾಶ, ವಾಯು, ಅಗ್ನಿ, ಜಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀರು, ಮತ್ತು ಪೃಥ್ವಿ ಮಣ್ಣು. ಈ 5 ಪಂಚಭೂತಗಳಿಂದ ಈ ದೇಹ ಮಾಡಲ್ಪಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ is making very clear that this physical body is a result of the 5 basic elements produced in the cosmos during creation. The 5 basic elements, they are called Panch Mahabhutas. 5 basic elements, everyone knows it very clearly. Everyone has heard of that. The entire body, the living body, even including any animal, not only human being, made up of 5 elements, basic elements. What are the basic elements? Akasha, that is, sometimes in English books it is written as ether, space. But again, remember, Akasha has no substitute English word correct. Akasha, or what is called as space or ether, should be termed as Akasha only. So Akasha, then Vayu, that's what we commonly call air, blowing all the time. Then Agni, that is the heat, Agni, heat. Then Jala means water. Then Prithvi means the soil, surface, or the earth itself. So the 5 basic elements constitute the physical body. These 5 elements. Then next shloka, Acharya explains that how the 5 elements join together. So it is a big process. I have to cut short here because it is in very detail, it is explained in Upanishads. So I have to cut short here. Please bear with me attentively. Whatever possible, I try to explain in a simple, as much as possible, simple words. How the 5 basic elements constitute the body, how they are formed first. In a Chandogya Upanishad, there is a concept explained in the mantras called Trivatkarana. In Taittiriya Upanishad, the same concept, because Trivatkarana is very difficult for most of the adhikaris even to follow what when the Acharya explains the Upanishad. So, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, the same thing is referred as little elaborate called Panchikarana. So, Panchikarana will be little easier to understand. So, let me, with the grace of Sadguru, I am trying to explain again here the basis of combination of the elements. So during creation, before the five elements emerged, they were in the most subtle, invisible, very, very invisible seed form. So the five basic elements, they were highly in the basic seed form called tanmatras. Tanmatra means from the unmanifest, before creation, they were there. Totally invisible. So the Akasha, the space, ether, that was originally present as a seed form, invisible, called Akasha Tanmatra. The air, Vayu, was present as a Vayu Tattva or Vayu Tanmatra. The fire or the Agni was present in the form of Agni Tattva or Agni Tanmatra. The water, Jala, was present in the form of Jala Tattva or Jala Tanmatra. The Prithvi, soil, solid matter, was present as Bhutattva or Bhutanmatra. So they were the precursors for the five elements. ಈ 5 ಪಂಚ ಮಹಾಭೂತಗಳು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವ ಮೊದಲು ಯಾವ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತನ್ಮಾತ್ರೆಗಳ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದವು. ಆಕಾಶ ತನ್ಮಾತ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತು ವಾಯು ತನ್ಮಾತ್ರೆ, ಅಗ್ನಿ ತನ್ಮಾತ್ರೆ, ಜಲ ತನ್ಮಾತ್ರೆ ಮತ್ತು ಭೂ ಅಥವಾ ಪೃಥ್ವಿ ತನ್ಮಾತ್ರೆ. Now, each tanmatra, the precursor, invisible, tattva, the principle, each one first divided into two equal parts. 50%, 50%. To make it simple, you have a 1 rupee coin, you divide into two, means one is 50 paisa, another is another 50 paisa. So each tanmatra divided into two equal parts, and the 1/2 of the equal part, that's 50 paisa coin, imagine, again divided into 4 equal parts. So that half tanmatra divided equally into 4 parts. Say, for example, the 1/2, 50% divided into 4 means what? 12.5%, 12.5%, 12.5%, 12.5%. So you have one single tanmatra, 50%, 1 unit, remaining 4 units of 12.5% each. So 1 plus 4, totally 5. 50% is 1 unit. The other 4 units are subunits. Joined together 5. Now, during the formation of the 5 Panch Mahabhutas, what happened? Now Akasha is to be formed first during creation. So what happened? The Tanmatra of Akasha, the 50% unit of Akasha, invisible seed, joined with remaining 4, 12.5, 12.5, 12.5, 12.5% of other remaining 4 elements. And it formed the Akasha Mahabhuta. So the 50% of Akasha joined with the remaining 4 tanmatras. 12.5% Vayu tanmatra plus 12.5% Agni tanmatra plus 12.5% Jala tanmatra plus 12.5% Bhu tanmatra or Prithvi tanmatra. So joined together, it forms, ultimately it gave rise to Akasha as one of the 5 basic elements. Same logic holds good for the remaining 4. Vayu, basic Mahabhuta, basic element. It formed like that from the tanmatras. So this is called Panchikarana Tattva, as explained in Taittiriya Upanishad. So Acharya combining all these things. Now, in a short form, he says in the shloka, in the first line itself, परस्परांशैर्मिलितानि भूत्वा स्थूलानि च स्थूलशरीरहेतवः मात्रास्तदीया विषया भवन्ति शब्दादयः पंचसुखाय भोक्तुः. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು? ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ತನ್ಮಾತ್ರೆಗಳಿಂದ ಪಂಚಮಹಾಭೂತಗಳು ಬಂದವು, ಅಷ್ಟು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಸಾಕು. ಪಂಚಮಹಾಭೂತಗಳು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಆರಂಭದಲ್ಲೇ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದವು. ಈ ಪಂಚಮಹಾಭೂತಗಳು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಮಿಶ್ರಣ ಆಗ್ತಾ 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 ಮುಂದೆ ಈ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಶರೀರ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಪರಸ್ಪರಾಂಶೈರ್ಮಿಲಿತಾನಿ ಭೂತ್ವಾ ಸ್ಥೂಲಾನಿ ಚ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಶರೀರ ಹೇತವಃ. So to summarize, Acharya tells the Shishya, look, so the 5 basic elements which were earlier formed by Tanmatra combination, Panchekarana Tattva, they once again mixed in a particular proportions and gave rise to this gross body, physical body. So the 5 basic elements joined and formed this physical body. Then these 5 elements gave rise to the 5 subtle sense organs, subtle sense objects in the body. Matrastadiya vishaya bhavanti shabdadaya panchasukhaya bhoktuhu. ಈ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಶರೀರ 5 ಪಂಚಮಹಾಭೂತಗಳಿಂದ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದೇ ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಶರೀರದಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಈ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ ಅನುಭವವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಲಿಕ್ಕೆ 5 ರೀತಿಯ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿಯಾದವು ಈ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ. ಮಾತ್ರಾಸ್ತದೀಯ ವಿಷಯ ಭವಂತಿ ಶಬ್ದಾದಯ ಪಂಚಸುಖಾಯ ಭೋಕ್ತು. ಈ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ, ಜೀವನಿಗೆ ಸುಖ ದುಃಖಗಳನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣವಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ 5 ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳ ಆ ಒಂದು ಯೋಗ್ಯತೆ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ, ಆ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳು ಈ ಶರೀರದಲ್ಲಿ ಉಂಟಾದವು. 5 ಪಂಚಭೂತಗಳಿಂದ ಈ 5 ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳು ಉಂಟಾದವು. ಯಾವುದಪ್ಪ ಅದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶಬ್ದ, ಸ್ಪರ್ಶ, ರೂಪ, ರಸ ಮತ್ತು ಗಂಧ, ವೇದಾಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. Now the second 2 lines explain that the 5 basic elements constituted the physical body. Then the physical body, the same 5 elements resulted in the development, constitution of 5 sensory feelings, 5 sensory capacities in the same body. So the 5 elements gave rise to the physical body and also the 5 basic sense apprehensions, or the capacity to understand sense in a different way. What are the 5 abilities of the sense? Body developed 5 abilities later. Shabdadi matrastadiya vishaya bhavanti shabdadaya panchasukhaya bhoktuhu. So the body developed the capacity to hear the sound, shabda, sound. Then touch, sparsha. See, you can touch and feel. That feeling of touch developed. Then the sight, rupa. Rupa means seeing the form with your eyes, your eyesight. You can see the world. You can see different forms. So the capacity of sight developed. Then the taste, rasa, capacity to taste anything, whether it is good or bad, whether you like or not. By taste, you will know the different types of food items, different types of liquid items. You can differentiate whether it's a hard water or the cold, ordinary water, fresh water, salt water, like that. So ability to taste, rasa, developed in the body. And similarly, the ability to smell, olfaction. You can smell. See, whether it is a good smell or a bad smell, you can differentiate. So all these things develop in this gross body by the same basic 5 elements. Then Acharya starts explaining येषु मूढ़ा विषयेषु बद्धा रागोरुपाशेन सुदर्दमेन आयान्ति निर्यान्त्यधूर्ध्वमुच्चै स्वकर्म दूतेन जवेन नीता. Next Acharya explains how the body, the physical body, how it derails the human being when he starts running behind such sense pleasures, when he becomes a slave for his own sense pleasures, how he gets derailed. That he explains. ಮುಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಅಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು ಅವರನ್ನ ಮೂಢ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು. ಯೇಷು ಮೂಢ ವಿಷಯೇಷು ಬದ್ಧ. ಯಾವ ಅಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು ಮೂಢರು ಕೇವಲ ವಿಷಯ ವಾಸನೆಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ, ಕೇವಲ ವಿಷಯ ಸುಖಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ತಮ್ಮ ರಾಗದಿಂದ ಬದ್ಧರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ. ರಾಗ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಆ ಒಂದು ಆಸೆ, ಬಲವಾದ ಆಸೆ, ಮೋಹ, ವ್ಯಾಮೋಹ, ಇದು ರಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. ತಮ್ಮ ಆಸೆ ಮತ್ತು ಮೋಹದಿಂದ ಬದ್ಧರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಇದನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನು ಪಡಿಬೇಕು, ಇದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಪಡಿಲೇಬೇಕು ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮೋಹದಿಂದ ಬಂಧಿತರಾಗಿ, ರಾಗದಿಂದ ಬಂಧಿತರಾಗಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಮೂಢರು ಈ ವಿಷಯ ಸುಖದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರ ಜೀವಮಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಸ್ವಂತ ಕರ್ಮಗಳ ಫಲಸ್ವರೂಪವಾಗಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬರೋದು, ಅದು ನಡೀತಾನೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅವರ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ. ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದ ಮೂಲ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಆಶೆಗಳಿಂದ ಬದ್ಧರಾಗಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪಗಳಿಗೆ ಜೋತು ಬಿದ್ದು ಮೂಢಮತಿಗಳು, ಅಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ ನಿಜವಾದ ಸುಖವನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಜಗತ್ತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಈ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಸಿಗೋ ಸುಖದ ಕಡೆ ಗಮನ ಇಟ್ಟು ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅಂಥವರು ಸಂಸಾರ ಸಾಗರದಲ್ಲೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ. ಇವಾಗ ಮರಣ ಬಂದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವರ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಕರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನರಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಅಧೋಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹೋಗೋದು ಬರೋದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರತ್ತಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಶಿಷ್ಯ. ಈ ಹೋಗೋದು ಬರೋದು ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಪ್ಪೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಸಂಸಾರ ಬಂಧನ ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಪ್ಪೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಗ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಬಂಧನದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದ ಅರ್ಥ, ಯೇಷು ಮೂಢ ವಿಷಯೇಷು ಬದ್ಧ ರಾಗೋರುಪಾಶೇನ ಸುದರ್ದಮೇನ ಆಯಾಂತಿ ನಿರ್ಯಾಂತಿ ಅಧ ಊರ್ಧ್ವಮುಚ್ಚೈ ಸ್ವಕರ್ಮ ದೂತೇನ ಜವೇನ ನೀತ. ಜವೇನ ನೀತ ಸ್ವಕರ್ಮ ದೂತೇನ. ಜವೇನ ನೀತ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ very quick, very fast method. Swakarma dutena, by the actions what they have committed in this life, of the karmas what they have done in this life. So those karmas will decide whether they have incurred punya in this life or only papa in this life. Whether they incurred merits in this life or demerits in this life, that is decided by their own karmas, by their own actions, by their own behavior. Because of that, either they go up or they go down. They go to the heaven and other urdhva lokas after death, or they go down to adholokas, hell and other unwanted dimensions. So they'll be going up and down because of their own karma, because of their own actions in the birth. Why? Because they are totally deluded and attached to the sensuous pleasures. They are attached to the sense of smell, attached to the sense of touch. Please remember the word Vishaya, last time I had told. Vishaya Sukha, very important Vedantic word. In Vedanta, this word is always used. Vishaya Sukha. Vishaya, the word means both. Vishaya means kama, means your desires. That mainly also refers to, Vishaya also refers to your lust, your sensuous lust, your sensuous attraction, sexual attraction towards opposite sex. A natural instinct, a very natural instinct in all animals, including human beings. Human beings are no exception. So, in most of the cases, when Vedanta uses the word Vishaya Sukha, Vishaya refers to Kama. Kama, in most of the cases, refers to the lust, sensuous lust, attraction towards opposite sex. See, the inborn urge, that sexual urge is referred as Vishaya Sukha. So, by delusion, when people, Mudha, he calls Acharya, Yayeshu Mudha Vishayeshu Baddha Ragorupashena Sudurdamena. See, Sudurdamena, they are bound so tightly, Sudurdamena, by this rope called Raga, attraction, desire, Kama. Vishayeshu Baddha. They are all the time, right from the teenage till the final, even up to the later ages, they are always attached to this sexual instinct. Most of them, not all, not all, not all. So, Acharya says, when they indulge excessively any of the pleasures, sense of touch, Vishaya Sukha, sense of smell, sense of eating, sense of drinking, sense of the sight. See, they are deluded. So, they are in the life, they are in this bottom pit, what you call as bottomless pit, and they always jump up and down. After death, if their merits are too good, they go to heaven for some time. There also they can't stay for long. They have to come back. ಸ್ವರ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದರೂ ಸಹ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ತನ್ನ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಕರ್ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಅನುಸಾರವಾಗಿ ಸಾತ್ವಿಕ ಜೀವನ ನಡೆಸಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಬ್ಬ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸಾತ್ವಿಕ ಪುರುಷ, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಪುರುಷ ಮರಣ ಹೊಂದಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವರ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. ನಿಜ, ಸ್ವರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಡೌನ್ ಟು ಮರ್ತ್ಯಲೋಕ ಫಾರ್ ರೀಬರ್ತ್. So up and down, this is a continuous process going on. Our Gurudev once, he was very fond of short phrases. Number of times I tell. He always used to take a short phrase from Bhagavad Gita during discussions. Once when I was sitting, our Gurudev, humorously, some point was being discussed. I was listening. Suddenly, offhandedly, he used the word, look, Nagaraj, see, there is one classification. Do you know that? Gurudeva, what is a classification? I don't know. He said, see, there is a classification of people who belong to Jayasva, Mriyasva class. Suddenly he said, see, there is a very important classification. Most of the people belong to the class called, or classification group called Jayasva, Mriyasva. There is a Bhagavad Gita word where Lord uses. Coming and going. Same thing Acharya is talking here. Ayanti niryanti ada urdhamuchaihi swakarma dhutena javena nita. So Acharya is telling people who are deluded, people who have got desires, people who have a lot of kama, people are after Vishaya Sukha, people who are after sensuous pleasures. How can they get jnana? How can they be liberated? So they are the fools. They are bound themselves to their own sensuous pleasures. They are bound automatically. So they carried up and down by the force of their own actions, by their own karmas. So they end up always in this birth and death cycle. Look, Shishya, remember this. To explain this point, next shloka, Acharya, remember, 2200 years before, he takes a common example during those days. ಇನ್ನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕ, ಮುಂದಿನ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಏನು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಡುವ. ಏನು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ? ಶಬ್ದಾದಿಭಿಃ ಪಂಚಭಿರೇವ ಪಂಚ ಪಂಚತ್ವಮಾಪ್ಯುಃ ಸ್ವಗುಣೇನ ಬದ್ಧಾಃ ಕುರಂಗ ಮಾತಂಗ ಪತಂಗ ಮೀನ ಭೃಂಗಾನರ ಪಂಚಭಿರಂಚಿತಃ ಕಿಂ. ಶಬ್ದಾದಿಭಿಃ ಪಂಚಭಿರೇವ ಪಂಚ ಪಂಚತ್ವಮಾಪುಃ ಸ್ವಗುಣೇನ ಬದ್ಧಾಃ ಕುರಂಗ ಮಾತಂಗ ಪತಂಗ ಮೀನ ಭೃಂಗಾನರ ಪಂಚಭಿರಂಚಿತಃ ಕಿಂ. Beautifully, Acharya in this shloka explains with 5 examples. Each animal he takes as an example represents one particular sensory perception. It's more developed. Other perceptions are there, but one particular, it is more developed. ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು 5 ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಪ್ರಾಣಿಯಲ್ಲೂ ಒಂದು ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಬಹಳ ಜೋರಾಗಿದೆ. ಆ ಒಂದು ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯ ಬಹಳ ಜೋರಾಗಿ, ಅದು ಯಾವುದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜಿಂಕೆ, ಆನೆ, ಮಿಡತೆ, ಮೀನು ಮತ್ತು ದುಂಬಿ. ದುಂಬಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜೇನುನೊಣ. ಈ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು ತಮ್ಮ 5 ಪಂಚ ವಿಷಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಬಲವಾದ ಆಸೆ, ಅವುಗಳ ವಾಸನೆ ಬಹಳ ಜೋರಾಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಅವು ತಮ್ಮ ವಿನಾಶವನ್ನ ಮುಟ್ತವೆ, ತಮ್ಮ ನಾಶವನ್ನು ತಾವೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತವೆ. ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಹೇಗೆ? ಜಿಂಕೆಗೆ ಶ್ರವಣ ಬಹಳ ಚುರುಕು, ಶ್ರವಣ ಶಕ್ತಿ, ಶ್ರವಣೇಂದ್ರಿಯ. ಅದು ಬಹಳ ವೇಗವಾಗಿ ಓಡುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಶಬ್ದವನ್ನು ಕೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಶಬ್ದದ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೇಟೆಗಾರರು ಹಿಂದೆ ಅವುಗಳನ್ನ ಸೆಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಶಬ್ದಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ಸೆಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವಳನ್ನ ಬೇಟೆ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಶಬ್ದಗಳನ್ನ ಗ್ರಹಿಸೋ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಜಿಂಕೆಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅದೇ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೃತ್ಯು ದಾರಿಯಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಗಂಡ ಆನೆಯನ್ನ ಪಳಗಿಸ್ಬೇಕು, ಹಿಡಿಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಹೆಣ್ಣಾನೆಯನ್ನ ಮುಂದೆ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡೋರು. ಆ ಹೆಣ್ಣಾನೆಯನ್ನ ಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಓಡಿ 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 ಗಂಡಾನೆ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿದ್ಬಿಡೋದು ಹೆಡ್ಡಾದಲ್ಲಿ. ಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಸುಖ ಆನೆಗೆ ಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಮದ ಏರಿದಾಗ ಎದುರಿಗೆ ಹೆಣ್ಣಾನೆ ಕಂಡ್ರೆ ಹಿಂದೆ ಮುಂದೆ ನೋಡದೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಗಂಡಾನೆ ಅಂತ. ಸ್ಪರ್ಶ ಸುಖ. ಮಾತಂಗ, ಪತಂಗ. What about these flies, insects in the night time? They are attracted towards the light. ಈ ದೀಪದ ಹುಳುಗಳು ರಾತ್ರಿ ಹೊತ್ತು ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಕಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಬೀಳ್ತವೆ. ಆ ಬೆಳಕಿನ ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ತಿರುಗ್ತಾ 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 ಶಾಖಕ್ಕೆ ಅವು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬಿದ್ದು ಸತ್ತು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ನೋಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವಿಷಯ. ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳ ಕಡೆ ಬಹಳ ಜಾಸ್ತಿಯಾಗಿ ಕಾಣುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಕತ್ಲೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಒಂದು ದೀಪ ಹಚ್ಚಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ದೀಪದ ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ಆ ದೀಪದ ಹುಳುಗಳು ಬಂದು 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 ಸಾಯ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನೋಟ, ಪ್ರಕಾಶ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆ ನೋಟವೇ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೃತ್ಯು. ಅದು ದೀಪದ ಹುಳು ಕೆಲಸ ಆದ್ರೆ ಮೀನಿಗೇನು ರಸ, ರುಚಿ, ಟೇಸ್ಟ್. ಮೀನು ಹಿಡಿಯೋನು ತನ್ನ ಗಾಳಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಹುಳುವನ್ನು ಸಿಕ್ಸಿರ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ ನೀರೊಳಗೆ, ಆ ಹುಳುನ ತಿನ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆ ವಾಸನೆ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಮೀನು, ಗಾಳಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಳುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ದುಂಬಿ, ಜೇನ್ನೊಣ ವಾಸನೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೂವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಹೂವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಕರಂದ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೀರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಹೂವಿನ ಪರಿಮಳ ಅದನ್ನ ಆಕರ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲ ದುಂಬಿಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೂವುಗಳ ಪರಿಮಳದಿಂದ ಆಕರ್ಷಿತರಾಗಿ ಸುತ್ತಿ ಸುತ್ತಿ ತಮ್ಮ ಗೂಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಆ ಜೇನು ಶೇಖರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಬಂದು ಅವನ್ ಸಾಯಿಸ ಜೇನನ್ನು ತಾನು ತೆಕ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ. ಹೀಗೆ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಶಿಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. So the Acharya says, see, in this example, the deer is mainly attracted by the sense of sound. That becomes its ultimate disaster for its own life. The elephant mainly attracted towards the sense of touch, especially during heat period. If there is a female elephant, the male elephant runs without knowing anything, without bothering about pros and cons, and then becomes a target for the poachers. Similarly, the moths, butterflies, and moths and other small insects, attracted by the light in the night time, in the dark, especially in the village areas. When the lamp is there, all these flies come around, dance around. They are attracted by the rupa, the form, the brightness, the heat, and they come and die there. What about the fish? Attracted by the taste of the flesh or the worm attached, dangling at the hook by the fisherman, and it is caught by the fisherman, like that. And honeybees, by the smell, the power of smell, see, they go in search of flowers and flowers and flowers, and then bring the honey, and then ultimately store the honey in their hive. They suck the nectars and convert them into honey, laborious process for the sake of their newly hatched larvae. But what the man does, he takes away the hive, kills all the honeybees sometimes, and uses the honey for his own purpose. So this example. So what Acharya means, when animals have developed one or two faculties of sense of perception and they die, the man has got all the 5 faculties of sensory perception well developed. So what about the human being? Man has well developed sense of smell, man has well developed sense of sight, well developed sense of touch, well developed sense of taste. All these things are there in the human body. So then what about him? Easily he becomes a victim within he knows in his own body, because of his own sense perception, because of his mind always geared up outside to satisfy sensory perception, to satisfy his lust. There is a point here Acharya is mentioning. Then he gives one example here. Doshena tivro vishaya krishna sarpa vishadapi visham nihanti bhoktaram drushtaram chakshushaapyayam. Doshena tivro vishaya krishna sarpa vishadapi visham nihanti bhoktaram drushtaram chakshushaapyayam. ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಪದ ವಿಷ, ಹಾವಿನ ವಿಷ, ಅದು ಕಚ್ಚಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ ರಕ್ತದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಮಗೆ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಮೃತ್ಯುವನ್ನು ತರಬಹುದು. ಯಾವಾಗ ಆ ವಿಷ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರಿದರೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರೋದೇನು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಮಾನವ ದೇಹ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ 5 ಪಂಚೇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳಿಂದ 5 ವಿಧವಾದ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ಸುಖ ಅನುಭವಿಸ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ, ಅವನು ಏನು ತಿನ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು ಆತನ ಇತಿಶ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಧೋಗತಿ ಅವನತಿಗೆ ತಲುಪ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕ. What Acharya says here is, the venom of a cobra, only when it bites, when the venom enters your bloodstream into the body, then it becomes dangerous for your life. But look at the human body, this physical body. Just it is so much by delusion becomes victim of his own 5 sensory perceptions of sense organs and how to lift him up in this life. That is a problem. So it is not possible, because 5 powerful sense organs are there, 5 powerful sense perceptions are there. His mind is always towards outside, enjoying the sensory pleasures. So how can you liberate him? How is it possible? So that is how he is giving examples. Vishayasha Mahapashadyo Vimukta Sudastyajat Sa eva kalpate muktaihi nanyashat shastra vedyapi. Next sloka. Vishayasha Mahapashadyo Vimukta Sudastyajat Sa eva kalpate muktaihi nanyashat shastra vedyapi. Now Acharya is making one distinction. Vishayasha Mahapashadyaha Vimuktaha Yaha. The one, only such a person, such a adhikari, such a jijnasu, who is Vishayasha Mahapasha Vimuktaha. The one who has rejected the Vishaya Sukha, Indriya Sukha, one who has rejected, detached from sensuous pleasures in the life, the one who is not deluded by the worldly pleasures, physical pleasures, including Vishaya Sukha, the one who is not attracted towards the lust, indulging in all, satisfying his sensory feelings, such a mumukshu who is detached as much as possible from these worldly sensory pleasures, worldly sensory joys, Vishayasha Mahapasha Vimuktaha. Only such person, Saeva Kalpate Muktaihi. Only such person is adhikari to get liberated. Only such person is entitled for liberation. Only such person entitled for mukti. Not others, Acharya says. Nanya Shat Shastra Vedyapi. Any other scholar, even he may know all the 6 Shastras in Vedanta, he may be a very erudite scholar. Even then, if he is not detached, that means if he has not developed Vairagya, ultimately Acharya is coming to the same. ಯಾವ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಲ್ಲಿ ವೈರಾಗ್ಯ ಪ್ರಬಲವಾಗಿ ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ, ಪ್ರಪಂಚದ ಹೊರಗಿನ ವಿಷಯ ಸುಖಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಗಮನ ಇಡೋದಿಲ್ವೋ, ಯಾವನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಥ ದೃಢವಾದ ವೈರಾಗ್ಯ ಜಾಗೃತವಾಗಿದೆಯೋ ಆತ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮೋಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಯಾಗ್ತಾನೆ ಅಪ್ಪ. ಉಳಿದವರು, ವೈರಾಗ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋರು, ವಿಷಯ ಸುಖಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ಓಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋರು, ತಮ್ಮ ಇಂದ್ರಿಯ ಸುಖದ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಜೀವನ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋರು, ಎಂತಹ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರವೇತ್ತರೇ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮವೇತ್ತರೇ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, ವೇದಾಧ್ಯಯನ ಸಂಪನ್ನರೇ ಆಗಿರಲಿ, 6 ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳ 6 ದರ್ಶನ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳನ್ನು ಅರ್ಧ ಕುಡದೇ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಸಹ, ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು ಸಹ ಅಂಥವರಿಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಅಂಥವರಿಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ವೈರಾಗ್ಯವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ, ಪಾಂಡಿತ್ಯ ಇದೆ, ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಜ್ಞಾನ ಇದೆ, ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ವೈರಾಗ್ಯ ಇಲ್ವೇ? ಈ ಭವಬಂಧನ ಕಡೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಬಿಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನನ್ನ ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಜಿಜ್ಞಾಸತ್ವ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲ. ಮನಸ್ಸು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರವೃತ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲೇ ಮುಳುಗಿದವರಿಗೆ ವೇದಾಂತ ಪ್ರವೇಶ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಿವೃತ್ತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೈರಾಗ್ಯದ ಲಕ್ಷಣಗಳು ಗೋಚರ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅಂಥವರಿಗೆ ಸದ್ಗುರು ಉಪದೇಶ ಅರ್ಥವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸದ್ಗುರು ಕೃಪೆಯಿಂದ ಆತ ಸಾಧನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದುವರಿತಾನೆ. ತನ್ನ ಜೀವನದ ಪರಮ ಪುರುಷಾರ್ಥವಾದ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಸಂಪಾದನೆಗೆ ಸದ್ಗುರು ಕೃಪೆ ಕಾರಣ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅರ್ಥ ಇದೆ. See why Acharya is talking like this? Because see, he knows most of the people, they want the full worldly enjoyments at their hand, total. They can't give up that. Say they want all the enjoyments, all the comforts in life. They want money, everything, because all the basic needs to be taken care. Money is very important. Money. Wealth. So that they can satisfy their lust. They can satisfy their desires. So all are totally involved in their desires. At the same time, they want Brahmajnana also. How can they go together? How can they go together? You are interested in life, materialistic life. You are interested in your desires. At the same time, you want Brahmajnana also. How is it possible? That's what Acharya is meaning here in this. Right? Guru Sankalpa today, we are closing this discourse once again with short Rama Bhajan. Sri Rama Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama 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 Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwara.
Thank you, sir. That was simply mesmerizing. Hari Om, sir.